Can you hear me well?
Use what?
Can you hear me
Yeah.
well? Good.
Yes.
When I use my external mic, I can't hear you, so we'll just do it this way. It's all good.
Well, there's a little round wheel at the bottom right. You see it? You see the little settings.
Settings. Okay.
Click that and then choose your audio output. Choose your microphone, your external microphone for your input, and then choose your whatever you want to choose for your output. It probably had your mic as the output.
Cool.
We're live. Did you got it? Is it working now?
It's working great.
Huh?
It's working great. Can you hear me
Okay,
good?
so it's working.
Yeah.
Yes, you're just like one of those Japanese movies. Your lips are moving and then your voice comes.
Oh, really? Is it delayed?
Oh no, it's okay now. No,
Okay.
yesterday we had one like 15 or 20 seconds. It was pretty rough.
Oh.
Let me play the.
It's all about the energies, right? Aligning and.
I know, man. I'm telling you.
Soothing in.
I'm going through it. Okay, hang on. We'll be right back. Oop. Oop. Oh shoot! I just deleted the video. Oh man, we got 17 people in the house. It's 6 minutes after the hour.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, we'll just give it a second.
Okay.
So, how's it going in Motherland and Worcester? I know you're not in Worcester, but
Close enough. It's going. It's flowing.
Mm-hmm.
It's dynamic times.
So,
Here, I should share this out, right?
Oh yeah, you want me to tag you on it?
Yeah,
Want me to tag you?
Sure. I shared it on my wall too.
Oh, you already shared it. Okay. Well, I'm going to tag you anyway, just because it's easier for people to. It's easier for people to find you if they want to. How can I get in touch with Julie, the cosmologist? The cosmologist, right? Isn't that right? What's the one? Well, who are the people that do the hair and the nail?
That's cosmetology.
Oh, cosmetologist.
Cosmetology. Cosmology.
You're a cosmologist.
It's like, galactic hair and makeup.
God. Man. Yeah, I've been feeling this way since last night.
Hey, friends. I like seeing all the lifetime friends slide by in the comment section.
Who's that?
Oh, my friend Corey's here. My friend Hung's here.
Oh, yeah.
Here. Should we do the romper room?
Is that how they did it?
I see Hung.
Hung's probably just here kissing your ass. You know Hung. I hope that is Hung. Hung the Gwen. Not Hung Went. Not Hung. Oh, I can't even talk. Oh man. I got hit hard last night and I'm still going through it. Physically.
Interesting. When I tuned in because you and I could talk for 400 hours, right?
Yeah.
At least. And we'd never exhaust our topics, but I was tuning into what is the Soulogy collective? What is our tribe? What should we talk about today? And I kept hearing plasma. So you want to tell about what did you get hit hard with? Just life, energy?
No, last night I started feeling sick. And then I had all this lower chakra movement I've never felt before. It felt like you know how when you get energy coming through you and it feels like little bubbles? It felt like a big bubble. Like a big one. Yeah. And it kept bouncing around. Like it would come up like it was going to go up, and then it would go back down to my root and up. And then I just told Morgan, I got to go to bed. So, and then I just had to lay down right now just so I could have 20 minutes of try to recoup. Yeah, I don't know. I got up at 6:30. I felt all right and had a lot of dreams, purging dreams again. And I'd say physical purging as well. How about you? Isn't life just dandy?
I do my best to have fun with it all. Because what else can we do, right?
Yeah.
It's very dynamic, lots of happening. Mm-hmm. Equinox, when Morgan booked me in for this, I was like, I looked at the calendar date she had offered me and I was like, oh yeah, we best do this after
After the equinox?
After equinox, I knew better than to try to come on last week. I knew we'd be busy. But yeah, last weekend was big. Like we unlocked we're a whole new, we're in a whole new situation, it feels like, with equinox and post equinox.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I started going, or observing or going through it around the 8th. Morgan's birthday was the 10th. She took it in deep the 9th, real late on the 9th. It just went bam. And I don't know if that was equal. Actually, there was a bunch of stuff, and I don't remember what it was. It was beyond her birthday. There was several things that aligned on 310, because I remember talking about it the night before, and we were like, wow, that's trippy. So I don't know. For me, it was kind of like the starter pistol went off then, and then I know there was one, I want to say around, God, I can't remember anything. I want to say around the 12th or 13th, and then about a week later, which would have been the equinox. It's 1:11 in New York City. So yeah, I'm just sitting here gutting it out. I feel like I'm running laps after school or like after basketball practice, and you can't go anymore, and you just keep going. That's what I feel like. It's better to sit here for an hour than, lay down for an hour, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how about you? Any physical symptoms? Anything happening?
We don't have time for real stuff happening.
Okay, let's go to plasma.
Yeah, no, but it's all related. It is
plasma.
But
I have a question about plasma.
Yeah.
So you have the you have the elements. I believe it's water, fire, air, earth, and ether. AETHER, sometimes they spell it. And then plasma. Is plasma ether, or is that
That's interesting that you say that, because I woke up this morning from my dream state with the word quintessence in my field. And I don't really know what that word, my human self didn't know what that word was. But when I went to look it up, it was like quintessence is the ether element. Ether element, like in the aether of the alchemists of old, would say that plasma is ether. So let's do a little plasma, like from a sciencey sort of physics realm, and then we can talk energy. So they call plasma the 4th state of matter. So if you picture an ice cube and you put it on the stove and put heat on it, it will turn to the 2nd phase of matter, which is water. Right? And then if you keep heating the water, it will boil and bubble, and it will turn into water vapor or gas. So gas or air, some people say, is the 3rd state of matter. And then if you and you have to get to like a superheated, doesn't happen on your stove so much, but if you keep heating the water.
You mean like laboratory
basically
heat?
Like it gets so hot that it's the electrons and the protons separate atomically. So we have just a free stream of electrons moving through a gas. So one way people call plasma is ionized gas or electrified gas. So it works as a conductor, meaning electrons can flow through. And that state of matter, does that make sense? What is that so far? So, because it doesn't really go with the 5 elements so much as it is like states of reality or states of matter.
The plasma in reference to plasma.
Yeah. But if we had to get to one of those elements that you mentioned, it would, to me, it links with the ether.
Oh, it's like in the middle. Plasma's like in between.
Or
like you have to get to plasma before you get to the next element, right?
Well, if we talk about the universe and its makeup, like 99% of the universe is plasma. So plasma is the most predominant state. Like the solid state that we live in, that we think of as like the real world, is like such a small percentage of the world. Does that make sense?
So plasma is like how we consider water for us in this realm. Like water's whatever, 70, 90%, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Ish. Yeah. Plasma is
ish.
So out in the in the universe, like the sun is plasma, stars are plasma, like comets, like that. There's solid parts of it, but like much bigger, like the heliosphere of the sun is plasma. So one of the reasons I thought this would be a great topic for us to talk about right now is where maybe you've heard there's a bunch of geomagnetic storms, the things that happen around the equinox.
Yeah, and they haven't stopped either. I found this lady, Patricia something.
Donworth or something.
Yeah, I found her on or around. Yeah, this show's on YouTube. Should be, yeah. I'm sitting here talking on an answer.
Hey Todd, on the restream, do you know how so I can see 3 people's questions, but then they go away.
Are you on a laptop?
Yeah.
They shouldn't. Well,
I can't scroll down to
anyway. On the right hand side, there's a little.
Yeah, I see them. But anyway, people are chatting.
No. I'm talking about there's a little bar. You can pull them back.
Yeah, up. I know. Usually there is.
Just put your cursor over there.
Yeah.
To the right of it.
Okay.
Yeah. It might just be slow right now. What the hell were we talking? Oh, this lady. So I found this lady, Patricia. You know who she is, right?
I do. Yeah. She's such a great resource because she takes stuff from everything and puts it in one place on her wall. So
yeah. What's her last name?
Donworth.
Okay, Donworth.
Something like that.
So I found her on or in this time period, like between Morgan's birthday and equinox. And I noticed her for a couple of days, and I thought, oh, I'm going to put this up because it's very informative. It's just it's really different. So then I noticed on my news feed she comes up every day, and I went to her site or her page, and she really only puts this kind of stuff up. So it let me know that this hasn't stopped for what? It's probably been ongoing for at least a week to 10 days. The activity, the geomagnetic storms, and
So if we put it in a bit of a larger context, where in the solar, so there's solar cycles, there's grand solar cycles that are 400 years, but there's smaller solar cycles that are every 11 years. So the sun gets really active at the solar maximum and gets really quiet at solar minimum. So in a solar minimum, we're in one or moving out of one, some people say right now. So the sun has been pretty quiet as far as coronal mass ejections and sunspots and that kind of so the sun goes into small activity. When that happens, well, maybe that's another topic. That happens, we get more cosmic radiation comes because the sun basically we're downwind of the sun. So when the sun's really active, we get this extra protection that goes around the earth. So we don't get as much cosmic.
Where does it come from? Where does the extra protection come from a scientific standpoint?
The sun's heliosphere or magnetosphere.
Okay. So it comes from the sun.
When the sun is super active, it's throwing off a lot of.
Okay, I got you. I didn't.
So we're kind of image protective wing or bubble.
Yeah, I realized what you just said. After the fact.
So we have just finished up the solar cycle 24, as people would say, or at the end of that, and the solar cycle 25 started sometime last year. And these are often things we don't really scientifically know about. We know them better in hindsight. So we're working on it. But when you switch from one solar cycle to another, there's a magnetic shift in the sun activity, north-south kind of shift. So they can see this sunspot, blah, 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 2,921, whatever, is how it's magnetically shifted. So that's a big deal to humanity, to our light bodies. And the thing I guess I can offer, because our community is mostly, energy workers and grid workers and embodied people, right? So that what the sun does and what the, planets, what our planet's doing has dramatic effects on our human fields, right? And our human bodies. So yes, your question was, are we getting bombarded? There's a thing that happens around the equinox, and I put some posts about it, and I'll link some stuff too, that the equinox cracks, because of how our planet is tipped and because of the equinox alignments, basically there's some the north-south of the magnetics of how things are aligned between the sun and the earth allows in some cracks where we get a lot more solar wind. So we talk about solar wind, so the things that Pat is posting about are solar wind activity, KP index.
We have to learn this stuff because I know that I know that most of the people here can't keep up. So I just want to get a little nomenclature down.
Okay.
First,
So let's talk about solar wind then, and forget about
well, just a couple. No. Tell
Yeah.
the story. Tell the story, but let's just get like 3 definitions. Okay.
Sure.
So, solar flares. What is that? Solar flares, and when they say solar flares, how far do they travel? How far does the repercussions of them travel? Forever?
I don't know that I know that but it's like a little, it's a storm.
Is it more confined to the sun itself, though? A solar flare?
Well, it's like, think of it like a burp. You can have like a polite small burp, or you can get like a belching burp, right? And the sun does that too.
So like that's the sun. That's the. It's not flatulence, is it? It's not solar flatulence.
Sure, it's gas. It's like off gassing. It's like a burp, a fart, solar off gassing. Like so, it's like a storm.
And then a geomagnetic storm. What is that, and what does that mean to the Earth when that happens?
So the sun will like off gas, burp or fart, and depending on how it's pointed, like it can go out in any direction. But if there's like actual particles of solar wind that come our way, if a solar storm or coronal mass ejection is pointed towards the Earth, it will send a stream of light, heat, energy, photons, like all that stuff. Solar wind comes our way. And codes too, right? And it will come towards the Earth, and it will interface with the planet's magnetosphere. Okay,
so here's another one. So I've seen quite a few. I want to say credible. I'm open. I'm not saying it's legit, and I'm not saying it's not legit. I don't know what it is, but I've seen several things over the years where it talks about the sun is plasma. And it's normally in relation, whatever I'm reading or viewing, it's normally in relation to starships coming in and out of the sun, kind of like a portal. So I don't know. Can you work with any of that information?
Sure. It's a lot of information. So the sun, yes, by its inherent nature is plasma. So, I said, I was talking about the states of matter and how on your stove, you're not necessarily going to produce plasma because you don't have that much heat. Like, where does plasma come from? Plasma is from the fusion that happens inside the sun. So it gets like so hot and so expansive. It's like it changes the state of matter and makes it plasma. Does that make sense?
Yes. So I get plasma. Yeah, I get what you're saying about the plasma. The plasma is almost like a meta element.
Sure.
It's like it's almost like in a different category. I got you. So and then so these things they talk about, the geomagnetic storms, the solar flares, the solar winds, the other things, and of course, from a scientific sense, you can kind of break it down like you do. But is there a part of this stuff that's happening, which we would say in our conversation, say non-physical, that they can say, oh, we can't detect that from a scientific standpoint? Or do they feel like they can detect and identify everything, every particle of energy that's around us, whether it's coming from the sun or not?
What we know scientifically is like a scratch on the surface. Like no scientist would say that they can detect all kinds of things. Like we're in baby steps with our human perception, and we're unlocking a lot as a collective, right? As a scientific collective right now. But it's like there's vastly much more that's unknown than known. What you mean? But back to making decoding the stuff about the sun and the solar wind, and I did see your question hung about if the sun is different right now. It's because sometimes if we get too much into the scientific answers of things, like our mind, we get too mental. right? And we want to ask questions and like understand it on a mental perspective. So like, let's switch into the energy side of it. There, if we talk about it in the context of planetary ascension and what's happening around that, is that our sun itself and the whole solar system with it is transversing, moving through a section of space that is heavily light encoded. And the sun itself is getting upgraded. It's like this ascension that we're on from a planetary and from a human individual point of view is directly being driven by the solar engine, by the sun itself.
Okay,
so the sun moving into a different like section of its rotational action around the galaxy.
So we're moving and everything else is moving, and we're moving into an area that is highly encoded, and the sun is being upgraded, so to speak, just like we're being upgraded. All right.
Or one could say we're being upgraded because our sun is being upgraded.
Okay, so I got you. So the sun is the biggest domino. It gets upgraded, and then there's a whatever repercussions from that. And we're part of that. Just like Venus would be part of that, Mars would be part of that.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad you brought that up, because what I've been working on a little bit behind the scenes in like gatekeeping rules this year is so we're mostly concerned on Earth, and any of our scientific instruments would be like, oh, there's a coronal mass ejection. Is it coming towards Earth? Is it going to affect us? But of course, the sun's a sphere, and it will send stuff out. And like as a human, like from a small human view, it's like, oh, the sun burped or farted out in that direction. It's not going to come towards Earth. It doesn't affect me. But we're like, once we get our mind around like from a solar viewpoint, like what if Venus is over there or Mars is over there? Like every planet, all the planets are affected. The closer that planet is to the sun, the closer that wave will travel to it. But like all the planets are being affected. But the coronal mass ejection stuff is not necessarily what's like the upgrade. Like the upgrade is at the star level or the sun level. Does that make sense? And like the coronal mass ejections are just kind of the delivery.
So does conventional science, does it recognize, as in proof the encodement, the dense amount of encodement as we're passing through this area?
I have not. No, I've not seen any scientists talk about that.
Well, I'm just trying to learn. Yeah, I'm trying to learn.
Yeah, no, that's more of like our,
Okay. So that information that you're bringing up, and those like you, would you say they're getting that from channeling or downloads, or a combination of, like, say, intuition and what you've been exposed to in terms of scientific stuff in the human level?
It's not really channeling. It's so it's like different viewpoints or different lenses that you can put on, or like, are you familiar with the concept of the logos? Like your personal logos or a planetary logos or a solar logos. Yeah. It's like, if you sit at the top of the mountain, the vista that you see is like a different view than if you're sitting on a picnic bench at the base of the mountain. Right? If you were like dialing into different viewpoints, or if like I'm going to become like some, if you listen to Sandra Walter talk about it, she would say like, I'm my cosmic Christed self. Like, I don't use that lingo, and that lingo doesn't resonate with me. But like, I would say it's like I'm seeing as a sun. I'm my own sun being, or like you were talking about the birth of the golden child around the the December 21st. That like thing that some people call Christed or crystalline is like solar coded. It's like when you it's like you're merging with that part of yourself that has more like a solar vantage point.
Yeah, like you're going to a different aspect of yourself, and from the human perspective, that might seem like it's a higher dimension or frequency.
It is a higher dimension. You can see, and then you can move into yourself as the center of the galaxy and see like the galactic viewpoint.
Right.
And then yes. So when you ask me to channel,
I get what you're saying, because I do the same thing, but I don't do it from the scientific standpoint. But now it's really the same thing. We're just getting there in a different make and model of a vehicle. That's about it. Let's come back to that, but I want to ask you a quick question because I'm going to forget because I don't feel so great. What the hell on the Schumann resonance, because it happened again, where there's a blackout? What is that? Do you know?
I don't know. It's interesting to me. It's not that I don't follow the Schumann resonance, but the Schumann resonance go back to plasma. So let's just talk about what the Schumann resonance is and what it's measuring. The Schumann resonance is measuring. So we have the surface of the Earth is obviously the Earth's crust. And then there's the ionosphere, which goes up to the atmosphere. So there's like that space in between. And really what the Schumann resonance measures is plasma in lightning. So plasma, like the lightning, like creates the heat and the movement and the activity of lightning, converts, does that. So I talked about the electron stripping thing. Like lightning does that to air. It makes plasma.
Okay.
So Schumann resonance is not, I don't really see it as a lot of people prescribe a lot of personification to Schumann resonance and like, oh, we're meditating and the Schumann resonance does this. And it's like, people have put a lot onto the Schumann resonance that I personally like, and that's their path. That's great. But I don't spend a lot of time. Like I notice it and it's cool, but I don't,
it's not the end all.
It's not that important to me. Like I would say, like, it's not important to me, but I think it's misinterpreted a lot.
There's
like a lot of
maybe what you're saying is there's quite a few other elements to consider that might have. I'm talking about like the things you've been talking about, like the geomagnetics and solar flares, solar winds, and other occurrences.
Yeah. So the way how is Schumann resonance measured? Like these, well, people like there's a bunch of different places all around the planet that have, like, you have to have quite sensitive equipment to be able to measure it, and like that's a whole nother like Tesla technology thing that we can talk about. But like there's one in Russia, there's like certain labs that are stationed around the world and they all get different readings because if we have so much, there's storms all over. It's really reading where the storms are on the Earth and where the lightning strikes are and how much plasma is like operating in the ionosphere. Right. So when it blacks out, like the part of me thinks like, oh, that, if that section, that particular, so it's not like one graph of the Schumann resonance. There's like at least a dozen stations around the world. And I've actually investigated this to try to find out a little bit more. Like I'm like,
so what you're saying is
like preparing these graphs. And a lot of people look to the Russia. There's one down in Argentina. Okay. But like the one that's in Russia is going to be giving you a different readout than the one in Argentina.
That's what my question was, just to make sure everybody understands that. So you're saying that there's a dozen, give or take, of these stations around the world that measure the Schumann resonance specifically, and at any given time, they're all going to have different readings, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think like if you're somewhere,
that's good information.
What?
That's good. That's good information. That's great information.
It's not like just a one Schumann resonance. It's not a one place that has all the data, but it's cool. But like, what are the dark spots? I don't say skeptic, but part of me thinks it's like, oh, that station's down for a little bit. Like, we don't have lightning over there. It's like, I think it's a much simpler thing than people. That's what I kind of mean about it. And I don't want to poo-poo anyone's fun, because like that'd be the same as someone like poo-pooing my like, oh, look at this crystal, this is plasma. Like everyone has their things that juice them up and light them up. Some people's thing is the Schumann resonance. I'm just saying it's not. I think it's like a much simpler thing.
It's like losing your TV signal in the old days.
A little bit. I mean, but it's cool. But that's not. I'm not saying like we shouldn't pay attention to it. It's
that's cool. No, I got you, and I appreciate
it. It's one of many ways that we measure things, but it's very relevant in this plasma conversation, right? Because the plasma. So maybe I think the most important thing or the most beneficial thing to people, because we're all going through it right now, is we have an increased amount of solar wind. It happened to come with the equinox. It's like it's been ongoing, but people I've seen in some of the comments, like it hasn't really stopped or slowed down. And it's, I guess, one of the best things one of the things I heard for myself in my work here at Innerspace is to work with people to empower them to use plasma and the solar wind as like nourishment for the light body. Because I think there's a lot of, there's some parables of like the doom and gloom, or the like, oh, we're going to get blasted, or, oh, we're going to get like our stuff taken out. It's like, no, it's like, it's actually kind of like, for those of us that like geek out on this stuff, it's actually pretty exciting, because we can use that. Like we are as we move up and have more and more solar activity, like our light bodies are upgrading to be able to receive plasma. So I'll say like something that's not personal, but like something that's been happening to me for the last few years with my light body is that I had this, the best way I can describe it is a plasma breathing apparatus sort of installed. You know, a lot of us have in our light bodies, like where the wings are in the back by the scapula, you know, we have that wing self. Mine is but like behind the heart, behind my left lung. And it, you know, I worked with it for a couple years of like, it's almost like when you go scuba diving and you're like trying to breathe underwater, that it's just like a light body technology that is helping me and other people. I've talked to a few other people that have had this going on too. It's like how we take in plasma and how we're able to breathe plasma energy into that phase of our light body that is
Wow,
plasma.
that's trippy. It almost sounds like, you know, what it reminds me of is like those land-based amphibious vehicles, right? So you're above the water, you're going down the beach, and you're, you know, if it was or let's say it was organic and it's breathing, and then as it goes into the water, it makes a change, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
from an energetic standpoint, it then grows gills or something like that. So you're saying that you have like an apparatus in the back that adjusts your light body so you can, you know, figuratively or literally breathe in plasma, which you can't do without adjusting it, right?
And I'm not saying it's unique to me. I think it's
No.
And if
Yeah.
if I can tread really carefully into this topic, I think that like the big global thing that's happening for a lot of people is actually a collective upgrade to our human light body that's an interface with plasma.
Okay, let me take that in. Since
Yeah.
you just spoke in code, you don't have to worry about.
No, I'm not. I just don't want to like.
No, I
tread
got
down
you.
the topic,
Yeah,
right?
I got what you're saying. So
But there is
you're
okay, so just like in general,
yeah.
like viruses work as upgrades to the human field.
Okay.
And the particular virus that our human beings are collectively integrating right now, to me, from like a big picture energy point of view, is like an opportunity, and I'm going to say a blessing because that's not going to come across well, but it's like an upgrade opportunity for all of us to interface with plasma in a much different way. Like it's in the respiratory way.
So what you're saying, it's regardless of the story or the narrative, it's a natural part of this energetic ascension, right? I mean, and
I can't say that I know that totally for sure, but it's but yeah, or I don't know that it's effective with ascension, but yes,
or it's just a coincidence. Right. You know, from a synchronicity standpoint, I mean, but
that's why I use the word opportunity. Yeah. It's like one can, for anything, one can decide how it's going to work with his or her field, right? Like, am I going to play with this in a way that's an upgrade for me and is like increasing my light and light quotient? Or am I going to play with this in a way that's, but that's like a human evolution point of view. It's like, are we designed to work more intimately with plasma? So plasma, like space plasma or cosmic plasma, definitely affects our human body too. So we have in our human self, we have something else that we call plasma, which is not like sort of that same state, but a lot of things, what a lot of us are feeling in these few days, it's like it does affect your plasma system in your body, right? So why do like coronal mass ejections, a lot of people get like the heart palpitation-y things, people get headaches, people get like physical sensations from solar wind. It's because of the interface with your physical form and your light body.
Okay.
But it's so maybe that thing, that collective upgrade or global reset that we're going through has opportunity for us to recalibrate our fields.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try that little dial in the back, because I mean, for me, at the end of the day, everything is comes from the thoughts, from the imagination, whatever you want to call it. The creative aspect. I mean, that would make sense to me, because, like, look, I've had, like, even this morning, I had those heart palpitations and stuff, and I'm like, twice I had them, and I was like, what the hell? But I know it's part of the process. But I mean, theoretically, with what you're saying, I could actually make an adjustment while there's more of that plasma, around, and I might calm my body down a little bit. You think?
Yeah. Well, it's an intense thing to integrate, like any light body upgrade, or the light body is not physically body sensation free, right? The light body upgrades can do a lot to our physical body. But yes, it's like the plasma is like coming in as like a, I don't want to say alternative food source, but it's like it's a nourishment quality that we can unlock by our perspective on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Absolutely.
But that's one of the things that I do with, so I run a consciousness center here in my home base, and I see people in person, but I also see people, remotely. Like Zoom is the way now, right? But that's really fun too. But like energy work works between, and like one of my many main jobs is to work with people, and during these times of intensity, like I call it light body technology.
Light
There's
body
a way
technology.
that we can help each other. You can do it all on your own too, but it's fun to have other friends.
So can you give me an example? Like, if I was there and went to your consciousness center and said, these energies are kicking my ass physically, is there anything I can do? Like, if I was just new to it, like, what could we do?
Yeah, I don't like, these are not conversations I have with most of my clients. The one we're having right now, it would be like, oh, this chick's weird, I'm never coming back there again. Right. But I use crystals, I use Andaras, I use sound. So I brought some tools out. So this is my new for this year for the metal. I do sound. So we're talking about plasma. It works with both photons and phonons. Do you know what phonons are? Phonons are like the quantum sound, heat. We'll talk about that maybe another time. But I would lay you down on my treatment table and work through your field with, and of course, most of my things are remote and Zoom right now. So you'd lay down at home and go through like an acupuncturist would work your meridians. Like I work with people's light body and interact. And sometimes people come in and they're, just to use some like generic examples, like they're hearing from their guides or like a certain ascended master, like they're getting headaches or they have ear pain because like their guides are like shouting at them. And like one client, I put like a transducer almost in her field because she needed like a recoding. Other people come in and like, these things are like this is the world we live in right now. Things are fantastical. Like someone's on my table and I'm like, oh, their bones of their spine are being replaced by a crystalline spine. So like I hold space for that, or like, oh, that arm is being like the bones of that arm are being not removed, but like the bones.
So can you see that when it's happening? Is that one of your gifts? You can see it when it's happening, or it's happening?
Yeah. Or I'm conducting the technological, like some things that like I'm creating and installing for that person. Right. Something, but it's happening. It's like their field is giving me the guidance.
Yeah, exactly. That's how all the practitioners seem to explain it. It's actually coming from the client, you're just basically, I don't know how you explain it. You're like the facilitator that's both connected to the physical, non-physical, whatever.
Well, this is fun because it comes back through the sun. So for 15, 18, whatever years, I was mostly teaching yoga, and I owned a yoga center and was like doing all the stuff that involves. But I had been trained as a energy, like in a vibrational tuning system. That's awesome. And I was doing that, but I was mostly doing the yoga thing. And then as my center got bigger and bigger, I was mostly managing other people and, doing scheduling and Soulogy. But then I was like, wait. And then, so my 2012 kind of revolution or upgrade for myself was stepping away from that and just doing my own thing here at Inner Space. So my contemplation was like, okay, this is working. And I felt like that's when I started kind of directly talking to the sun. I was like, where does prana, where does energy come from? And like that quick answer for me is like from the sun, right? So then I started communicating very directly with the solar rays. So the rainbow rays of creation. And then I started training a lot in grid working. And of course, like anything we're doing for the planet, like the body is our compass or instrument or mandala that we interface with the rest for. So I was having these kind of amazing things happening with my one-on-one client work and putting it into bigger picture. It's like what I do here at Inner Space is like I'm aligning, helping people, assisting people, because they're really the ones doing the work, aligning their own grids. So like your human grid field, an energy field, electromagnetic field, light field, crystalline network is directly linked to the planetary one, which is directly linked to the solar, which is directly linked to the galactic. And like sometimes these things where we're out of when things are out of tune, I call it vibrational tuning, because it depends. Like any client or person would come work with me as a practitioner, and it's like I never have a preconceived notion. I don't have like set protocols. It's like you and what you need on this day. Sometimes it's people's magnetic situation. Sometimes it's people's light, whatever. Sometimes I have people that come see me that I don't have any of this conversation with. They just lay on the table and I do, hands-on stuff and sound, so coding, and they leave and feel better. They don't have to have these metaphysical conversations with me. But I have a lot of people that come see me that want to, like, they come see me because they want to have these metaphysical conversations. And it's cool. It's just really fascinating. And like what's happening for all of us, I think any of us or anyone that's watching this or listening that works with people like one-on-one, it's like, it's amazing. It's like completely like the stuff that's happened. Like, so from 2012 till now, what I've noticed with people are coming in, it's because I'm expanding and growing my skill set. But it's, besides like star lineages or like guides will come through, ancestors will come through, like so much is happening, or like people's, I don't like to use mission, but like galactic activity. So for any of us, like what's happening, that whole Carl Sagan, we are star stuff, and we are, like our DNA is encoded with all of this. Right. Like the carbon that makes your hair was birthed on a star. And if that was in the, Orion system, or that was in the Pleiadian system, like the things that people prescribe as like, oh, the contact, like it's really happening in your own energy field. And it's like particles of your,
that makes sense. That makes
DNA that's waking up, like we were talking about at the beginning of like, so people are coming in with more awareness, and like, where do we all go? We support each other, right? Collectively. But there's people like myself that you could go to and like have a in-depth conversation with, like, I saw this last night in my, my dream state. Or
so you speak to the sun. Do you speak on a regular basis to the sun? Is that one of your go-tos? I've never met anyone that actually does that.
Or everyone actually does that.
I mean, I've done it with the moon. I've never done it with the sun. I never thought about doing it with the sun. And I know I could do it with the sun. I just never actually heard somebody say, yeah, I talked to the sun.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What's that consciousness like when you commune with it? Does it have a flavor to it?
for me, it comes through the rays. It's like the color, you know, it's especially at first. And I was like, oh, like each, what one would call a chakra is really a portal or a doorway or an opening, like it talks like the music of the spheres. It talks in like different color and different tones and different frequencies. So to transcend all this, like I can see your human mind and your wheels where like to transcend a lot of this, like our mental bodies are going to go a little like.
No, I'm totally in it.
So like I've transitioned to a lot of sound technology to work with people because it light technology and sound technology transcend the mental thing.
Light technology, sound technology. Yeah.
No, I mean like something simple. When I say technology, I mean like, you know.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to this lady
like,
about
you can hear a lot in that. You don't have to like say all the words, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what you're saying you're talking to a lady?
Yeah, 2 days ago I was talking to her about because she does some kind of sound stuff, and I was just telling her, like, when I think about the origin or source, whenever I've been able to get there throughout my life, it always starts with, or the first thing that comes out of whatever that is a sound, like a sound, a vibration. It's like it's like some kind of buzzing sound, harmonic thing.
Yes.
So that makes sense to me. And when you're talking, and I'm asking for explanations, I actually get, resonance wise and feeling wise, energetically, I feel it. I understand it. You know what I mean? And it's kind of cool because now I can ask the question and it completes the sentence, connects the dots. It's very cool. But when you have clients, do you spend time? Does the cosmos aspect come into the session at all, or just
Oh
depends?
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it depends on the client. It depends what their field and what their soul needs on that day. But those are my most fun ones. But when you say cosmic,
Let's do a session.
You
want to?
Right now?
Yeah.
For you right now publicly? Yeah.
Well, we could do like a 10, 15 minute.
Yeah, sure.
I think it'd be cool to see you do it.
Yeah, it's funny that you said not funny that you said that.
I've always thought of you as the teacher, the scientist. I know you work with people because we've talked about it. You showed us your crystals. You talked about it, the sound tools and such. But yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool.
Well, that's one of the. I mean, I do. I call it a journey, because instead of like we're all moving out of that.
I mean, if you want to take us all through, take me.
Yeah, do an inner space journey. I may have prepared for it, bringing all of my like tools here. I thought of the same thing. I was like, let's just not even talk today, Todd. We'll just do like a Soulogy inner space journey. Yeah. All right. Prompt 2.
We got Jason Shirka coming on in an hour and 7 minutes. So is that right? Let me check.
Let me get my bike helmet on, Bruce just said. Yeah.
What's that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we have an hour and 7 minutes, so we're good. And I've got to take a nap for 45 minutes, or we can just keep going.
When you came on and then you started asking me questions, you're doing things, I almost had you just like go lay down. I'm like, go lay down, Todd. I'll just like work on you. So this is all. And I thought of this too when I was preparing. I was like, we'll do a plasma session.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, for however you want to do it, for the people, for me, whatever. I mean,
well, it's all one. It's all one and the same.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
I'm more interested in observing it and seeing what you do, seeing how you work.
All right. So you got to close your eyes, friend.
I got to close my eyes.
Yeah, you do. You got to close your eyes. And if you're in a chair, it's fine. And if people are at home,
close my eyes.
Laying down is super good.
All right.
Getting relaxed is super good. So anything you want, if you want to talk to your sun, the sun is inside of you. Some people call it solar plexus. Some people call it the Dhara or the soul. I call it the soul center. So just take some deep breaths into your belly. Take your awareness into the pulsing rhythm of how when you breathe in, your belly fills and expands. When you breathe out, your belly softens and empties. Just stick with that for a bit, watching the waves of your breath deep in your belly. And what part of your body right now is the most sensational? What part of your body is talking to you the loudest?
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm just, these are all inner contemplations. You can answer if you were my
No,
only
I'm good. I'm good.
you could answer out loud, but it's just go to your sensation field. So we're entering the sensation field, and I'm just going to give some verbal cues. So this is all like done in quiet internally. And if nothing comes to mind, like you're sitting on something or laying on something, right? So feel your butt against your chair or your body against a surface, and just start there. And as we move through, I'll do a bunch of sound toning and some sound instruments. And I might hold up a few crystals to the screen so people can see them. But it's for later. It's a vibrational thing. It'll come through you. You don't have to look at anything. You should just stay relaxed. But just follow, like it's like if you've ever done a shamanic journey. It's like follow a journey through your field, your star field, your inner field with me, inside of you.
Hung shung hung shung hung shung hum shum hum shum hum shum hum shum hum shum hum shum
How you doing, Brother Todd?
I'm good. I'm good. What is that?
This is my plasma.
It looks like a dragon's head.
Yes, this is a plasma dragon.
It's a freaking dragon. I knew it. Yeah.
Yeah. This is let's put this on. So I recorded and I just posted it like about an hour before. I have a YouTube channel and I recorded a plasma. I called it the blue plasma wave. It's about 6 minutes long, but
inner
space. Yeah. I'll put a link to it underneath this. I also, my most exciting Julie news that exists right now is that after years of seed planting, I started my online course platform last weekend.
Really?
Called I have a Thinkific school.
What's it called?
It's Explore. Well, you can go to innerspacevoyages.com.
Okay.
And last weekend was my inaugural launch. So innerspacevoyages.com. So I have so far one course uploaded and so many more to come. But we did a equinox, working with the magnetics of the body and equinox. So that's available. It was a lifetime thing like this, but it's up and the replay is available. So it's quantum, so people can use it anytime. So if anyone's feeling like
inner space
equinox energy is kicking my ass and they want a little tune-up, I have a couple free things on my YouTube page that are like this, like sound coding journeys, inner space journeys, and anyone's welcome to take the course too, of course.
Inner space courses, is that what it was?
Inner space voyages.
Voyages.com.
Yeah.
All right. Boom. There it is. It's on all of them. It's on every one of them. What was I going to tell you?
So I work with people individually.
Yeah.
And but I work with groups too. I'm making sure I got that. Aw. Thanks, Terry. I know I see a lot of people's oh, thanks. Thanks, Todd.
What?
Did that help you in any way, Brother Todd?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I mean, I just saw this. Is this you? Interspace plasma waves 3 hours ago. Okay. I just saw the dragon crystal on the
So one of my
little
new things
picture.
that I'm playing with is doing light and sound code transmissions, like a video, some pictures. I get a lot of fun things that happen with my Dhara teams over here.
Well, this is cool. Okay, so you're at Inner Space, which okay, you're at Inner Space on YouTube, which is what is that? What's the name of it? You should. I don't know what the
link and but I can't add, right?
No, you can't.
Thanks, Denise.
But they usually have a URL address.
Yeah, I have
what is it?
I don't see a URL?
Yeah, maybe it's on the about page.
It's on?
I don't see it.
Well, let's rectify that.
Let's see. UCT, would that be it? UCT? Channel, but anyway. So it's on I found it by looking up Inner Space Julie Dhara Roberts. That's how I found it.
Okay. I have a link to it on my website too.
On YouTube, yeah. And then on the website, yeah, she's got it. Yeah, I liked it. I would personally, at this stage in the game, and probably even before this, I would rather go in, if I were to do a session, which usually I just do my own stuff or with Morgan.
Yeah.
If I need something. But I'd rather go in and listen to some sound and light healing.
Right.
And seriously, I'd much rather do that.
Then you mean like book a session with someone, and like most of us are doing.
Well, I mean, I would feel more. To me that would do more for me than somebody doing Reiki on me. Although I think Reiki's good, don't get me wrong. I certainly don't. I'd get more out of that than having a conversation with somebody. I'd rather get the gongs out and some music and do some toning or something like that.
Yeah, right.
I actually just turned my mic off and I just listened to you and. Yeah, some of the vibrations were very cool. Now, one thing did happen to me on this show. So I had a memory. You know how all this stuff is coming back to us now, right? I mean, our third eyes are getting more expansive and senses are getting higher. Memories coming back, whatever, code, whatever. But so while you were talking about, connecting with the sun, and you said it's in your body, and as soon as you said that, I remembered where it was, and I remembered that I've always it's almost like the entrance portal to me, right? And it's like in the sternum area, maybe a little bit lower, but I remember this from, and this just happened, like how you remember something and I forgot I forgot I knew that already, kind of thing. But I remember this from like being a little kid.
Yeah.
Like 3, 4 years old, 2, 3, 4 years old, 5 years old. And I'd always wonder, for one thing, why when I wake up in the middle of the night, is there like something pulling from that spot of my body? And then sometimes I would wake up and I still do. When I guess when I'm very active and it's very tender, almost like somebody punched me. You ever bruise your sternum? Yeah, it feels like that sometimes. So yeah, man, it's a lot of energy.
Can I do one more Julie promotion thing? So my main webpage is if you want to type this one in, it's innerspacehealing.org.
Innerspacehealing.org.
That's like that's been my, I've had that page for 10 years.
Okay.
And most of the body of my work is on there.
Good.
And I have my blog is like super. If anyone wanted to go down a Julie Dhara Roberts rabbit hole that's of goodness, my blog is rich and there's a lot in there, like cosmic, personal, energy, body, all that good stuff. Let's go back to the sun inside. So the session that I just did, it was like, centered around Todd's energy field, but it was like everyone, the group body of everyone who's going to listen to this through time and space. But the first part was like getting people into their beingness. But then it was we went right to the third eye. So it's a lot of that toning, like your pineal. It was like that busy mental state, but then like relaxing that a bit and then moving through. And that some of the tones were for that some people say the pineal is like two wings or two hemispheres of the brain. So that some of the tones are doing the hum and kashum are like ancient Sanskrit tones for balancing the right and left hemispheres of the different lobes of the Anya chakra, the third eye. And then, so I asked, like, that was sort of the direct experience of like letting in the sun, like all the whole conversation that we had prior, was come through the sound codes and into that place. So some people, if you have martial arts, people would talk about it as the Dhara or we're calling it the soul center, but it is that between your heart and your navel. But it's like I think I made it an inch above. But it's that inner sun. But it's interesting because we won't go into this too much, but the central channel, your Sushumna, or the central channel nadi, the central pipeline down the center of your spine, it has it feeds and nourishes that. And so there's a lot of, what an acupuncturist would call meridians. Those of us who do like Ayurveda or from the yoga schools, we call them nadis, right? So there's so many nadis that radiate from your navel, from your center, and they move out to the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet, up to each eye, or through the organs, what they call the organs of action. So your mouth, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your every opening, anus, all the urogenital openings, and
they come from that same spot.
Some of them do. They move, but that's a nexus. That's a hub of many. Yeah. But it is, and I saw someone go through, like, there's so many awesome comments, and I wish I could talk to them all, but somebody was like, yeah, the sun, all the sun and planets, like everything is inside of you.
Yeah, I get that.
Right.
But specifically that area seems to be, I don't know, like it's almost like the indoor outdoor, how you go in, how you come out. For me, I mean, that's
absolutely.
And I could also see where it's a hub too, but to me, it always be like a hub to everything. Almost like the sciatic area in the nervous system, where all those things go through the tailbone area.
So one of the best, I've done a lot of teaching. I've done a lot of studyship along my way and studied a lot of different methodologies and modalities. And one of my best mentors / teachers, he shared this thing. It's called core living. So he would talk about that place of and it was always go here first. So the human being has 3 access points. It's the head, the heart, and the core. So the head is is a receiver and a projector. The heart is the magnetic pump, and that's like the wellspring of emotions and relationship. And then the core is where you're one. It's in his advice, the best advice maybe I've ever gotten in my life is go here first. Yeah. Like it's great to be heart centered, it's great to be centered, but your core is your soul center. It's where you are at home. And when you're there, when you're fully in your core, that's why I started us with the belly breathing. You're at one with yourself, with the universe, with whatever you want to be. The Pleiadians, your Turians, the sun, Todd Medina, it's all we're all one. Right. And it's that soul center place that it's quiet there. You're self-assured in that place. We all know how busy the head gets, and we all know how wavy the heart gets. Right. And those are great places, like the heart, the head and the heart are fabulous places to work from, but you always have to go to your core first and tune in there and then move out.
It's like we're at within and without meet to me. That's another way to describe it. All right. I'm going to have to lay down for half an hour.
Yeah. I got life to do too. It's such a pleasure to connect with you, Todd, every time.
I know it is. I wish I was feeling better today, but yeah, this was good. It was perfect. Everybody liked it, and that's the main thing. And plus, you're getting out there, and we're here to support you do that because you've got a unique offering, and it's time for you guys to start stepping up. I got 2 messages today from 2 different sisters, and they both said, "I've been waiting for a long time to contact you, and it's time for me to come out." I think one of them was one of your friends, actually.
Well, that's while we're publicly asking.
Is that you?
I get friends ask me a lot, like, how do I get in touch with Todd? How do I get on Todd's show? Are you looking for more people?
We have like 150 people in line, but
on the waiting list?
Tell them to write soulogynetwork@gmail.com.
See, I'm good. That's what I did.
soulogynetwork@gmail.com, or they can always do it on the website.
That's where I sent them, so I'm on point.
And yeah, we have some backed up there, but yeah, I would encourage anyone to reach out. I mean, it might take a while, but we've seemed to have been able to get to pretty much everybody over the years. Yeah. It's just getting kind of trafficky now. So, all right. I hope I see you. What are you doing end of May?
I know. Oh my gosh, Hung's been like, you got to go. I'm like, I'm working to create my alignments. I would love to.
There's going to be a bulletin board in the next few days on the SoulogyFest.com website, and that bulletin board is going to be utilized for a couple of reasons. But one of them is going to be for people that are, going to consider coming but have transportation issues, and maybe they can hook up with somebody,
right?
Another public, what I mean.
Well, as I said to Hung, if it was in driving distance of me, I'd be there in a heartbeat. Yeah. It's just some considerations and kids.
Well, yeah, I know.
But if it aligns,
we'll see what happens. What happens. I love you. I'll see you later.
Feel better, Ted. Thank you, everybody.
You think about that, and thanks for helping us out and all that stuff. And I'll see you next time. Thanks
for being you, Todd.
Okay, you take care. All right, we'll see you later. How do you turn this off?